Hey, welcome to the podcast.
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Josh. This is Matt.
What's up, everybody?
We're starting this is a pilot episode for our podcast. This is a working title, is working everything. So we're gonna expect feedback so that we can change things.
But we're thinking about going. It's going to be called the Level Up Podcast. So let us know what you think.
All right. Just go over a couple backgrounds. I'm Josh. This is Matt.
Hi, everybody. My name's Matt.
We're college kids, 20 years old, getting into shenanigans all at different all over the place.
Too much.
This podcast is mostly about video games, so that's we do a lot of that. Me more than him, but
A lot more than me, but I still love them. They're near and dear to my heart.
yeah, we'll kind of backgrounds on us. Matt, you want to start?
Well, the types of games and stuff I like. I'm mostly into horror genres and action. A lot of my favorite games is Dead Space. I've played all three multiple times. In fact, I'm getting ready to start 2 again here in a little bit. And I like playing like Saints Row and all the Batman games and Halo and all those cool games, Just the kind of types of games I like to play. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I'm along the same lines. I've been playing Destiny a lot recently, just 'cause that's the new thing. That's what's out. Yeah, I enjoy a good horror game every now and again. I've never really played Dead Space a whole lot, but mostly right now, definitely Destiny. I play sports games, MLB, NBA, NFL, and also things like Call of Duty, Battlefield's definitely where it's at. Yeah, that's what we are. We're gonna transition that into the next segment of the show, which is where we just go over like general gaming stuff, like rule review stuff. We'll go over news, and we'll give our impressions of stuff that's about to come out in the next couple months or whatever. And we'll give you guys a general impression of where we stand on things, and then after that we'll transition to the final segment, which is where we talk about releases that are coming out soon. On all consoles, anything from last gen to current gen, which is like 360s, PS3s to now the PS4s and Xbox
Basically, the consoles I play.
One. Yeah, he's Xbox 360 almost exclusively. He plays 3DS every now and again.
Dude, that Pokemon. You can't. I'm sorry, but when there's Pokemon, you can't get that wrong.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm in the same boat. But I play PS4 and PS Vita, so we got the nice little shift there. We can hit every company. So in the world of reviews, what do you I've been playing Destiny a lot recently. I'm sure all of you have know what that is. I enjoy it. I'm sure you've seen a bunch of reviews on it. It's a pretty big game. It's Bungie. It's going to be good. But there's a big thing that I've seen, at least on YouTube and other reviews such as that, is that it maybe didn't stand up to expectations as much as they would hope. My only really big problem with it is that it's while it's a loot grab. You're always looking for the next piece of gear, but you hit. Let's rewind first. Where we to the story that everything is. It's a very generic story. There's darkness out there. You gotta go stop it. That's it. You are humanity's last hope. But it's styled behind an MMO, so everybody's the last hope. So that's just like a bland story. Can't expect too much out of that.
Well, I mean, it almost has to be because they can't make a unique story when there's all those players. It would just I would say, make a fault in the game.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, you can't go in expecting Halo story.
Oh no, not even close.
But the gameplay is definitely Halo-esque. You can see the influences. The gunplay is very similar. I mean, you have a scout rifle. Feels exactly like a DMR from Halo's past. Pulse rifle, that's your battle rifle. assault rifle, auto rifle as they call it, is your assault rifle. You got your sniper rifles, rocket launchers. They act the same way as they do in Halo games. But the story, in my opinion, relied a little bit too much on. Bungie's already announced that they're doing a sequel. In my opinion, they've maybe relied a little bit too heavily on that, because I'm not going to do any spoilers here or anything. But you meet somebody in the game and you don't learn anything about her. You don't learn her affiliations. You see her multiple times in the game, but you learn literally nothing about her except that she's out there to help you. In my opinion, it was kind of, I don't know. It's a fun game. It was definitely, the story relied a little bit too much on there being a sequel, in my opinion. And that's pretty overwhelming opinion on the internet. But yeah, the fact that it's how do I put this? It seemed a little bit like a prologue. The story was, but when you really get into the game, Matt here's watched me play a little bit of it. I've logged about 2.5 days on, a little over 2.5 days actually, actual game time. It's been out for 2 weeks. That some say it's a little bit excessive, but I mean, call it what it is. The end game content, which refers to after you beat the story, which probably you can beat it in roughly, you can beat the campaign in probably 1 day easily. Me and like one of my friends I play with on PS4, we could have beat it much faster than we did, but we were waiting on someone else, one of our friends, get the full experience out of it. But by that time, we had passed the level requirement, and we just breezed through it. We breezed through the enemies. We breezed through the final boss. Once again, no spoilers. It just seemed too easy, so that ruined my experience for the last mission anyway. But the guy we played with, he was the right level, so we had a definitely a good he had a good experience. He enjoyed it. I mean, I'm sure we would have, because I mean, it was still fun even though we just mowed through all the enemies, because they still pose a threat to you, whereas you can blow through them just because your gear is much higher than your weapons, and your armor is just much higher level than it would have been at that level. But they still pose a threat to you, because the only thing that really levels differently is their health, and then you got the special enemies, and that's similar to any other game. And it's just it makes for an interesting experience. Matt, I know you've only seen reviews on it. As someone outside looking in, what's your opinion on the game?
Well, I tell you the truth, because I have not played Destiny. I've only seen what Josh has played, and it does look good, but for someone who doesn't have a PS4 and who can't really play Destiny right now, I mean, it does look good. I thought it was interesting, the mechanics of the online co-op and everything else, the MMO aspect. And what he said about the whole story, it kind of has to be vague. If they make it too unique per person, then it would kind of like ruin it. But keep it a little vague. I mean, they can always advance on that with DLC and plus the sequel and a bunch of this other stuff, so they can improve on the game and all that good stuff. But on another note, we want to talk about some news that's going on.
Yeah, the big thing.
I think the only thing that's really big that happened in the media right now is that the fact Microsoft bought Minecraft for like $2.2 billion.
What he's talking about is those who play video games. Those who play video games everybody's heard. I mean, my dad hasn't touched video games in something along the lines of like I don't know, like 10 years, and he still knows what Minecraft is.
That's mostly because your sisters, though.
Yeah, my sisters play Minecraft.
And my little brother plays the crap out of it.
They enjoy it. It's Minecraft is a great game. It's great for all ages. You know, go out there, pause this podcast, go out there. If you haven't seen it, YouTube it. It's just thousands of people out there playing Minecraft, loving it. It's a good way to explain it. It's digital Legos. Would you say?
Yeah, it's blocky. But of course, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows what Minecraft is. I mean, it's just in so much media. You find it in T-shirts and everything. So if you guys haven't heard of Minecraft, you've been living in a hole for like the last like 2 years.
Yeah, that's about right.
So and since Microsoft bought it, expect them to milk it real good.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Right now is since this happened last Wednesday, I believe. It was actually last Tuesday. That Microsoft purchased Mojang, which is the company that makes Minecraft, to the tune of $2.5 billion. That's with a B. And essentially, what there's a big concern about is that what does Microsoft do with Minecraft now? There's a big consensus out there, a large group of people that say that they're gonna ruin it because the way the game is now has a certain charm to it. Like the graphics, they're intentionally bad. I mean, it's not like you're looking at it's not like you're looking at Destiny.
Oh no, not even yeah.
So it just has its own unique charm to it, just the way everything works together as the game mechanics. People are afraid if they go and start messing with that, then it's going to ruin the experience. Another thing is that with the possibility, seeing as that Microsoft bought it, so now you're going to have to look at how the relations are going to go with Sony. Seeing as Minecraft's on PS3 and also PS4 now, as of last month, I believe.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to look at the relationship because they've come out and said that they're not gonna take it off of PlayStation, but the thing is, are they gonna let it die, or they're not gonna update it? They're not gonna help it in any way, or just what are they gonna do? I mean, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Honestly, I don't even think Microsoft knows.
Time will tell, I guess. We'll have to just keep your ears and eyes open, guys. See what happens, because it can go either really, really good, or it can go either that, or it can go really, really bad, really, really quick. But I think that's the only pretty much news that's really going on out there. So I'm going to start with the previews. One big preview that I saw that's coming out is, I don't know who's all, the Saints Row kind of guys, but I am one of the Saints Row guys. The new DLC when Johnny goes to hell. That one looks really cool. I am not gonna lie. I don't know. I forget when it comes out. When's it come out, Josh?
I can find out for you. The DLC is called Get Out of Hell. It's gonna be a DLC for the newest Saints Row. Is that 5?
Saints Row 4.
Saints Row 4. It's gonna be that. It's also gonna be a standalone, which is a big thing these days. But let's see. When does Get Out of Hell come out? 2015. There's no exact release date for it yet. It seems.
No, it's January 27, 2015.
All right, so early 2015. All right.
Yeah. So in a few months. But I love the Saints Row games. I played the crap out of the third game and the crap out of the fourth. The fourth is probably one of my favorites just because how awesome the superpowers are and how quirky it is. I laughed like the entire time I played it. and it was fantastic. Some might say, "Oh, it's but I think it's definitely separated from the whole GTA universe to where because I know in Saints Row 2 it was a lot like GTA was, and 3 kind of went goofy, and now 4 it's flat out just its own thing, which is fantastic in my own opinion that you can separate that similarity with a big game like GTA was.
Yeah.
Because in GTA you can't go around freaking hitting people with giant purple dodos. I don't know about that game, but yeah, you can't do that.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum. Well, I'm not gonna say I hate Saints Row. I've played 2. 2 is the only one I've ever played. It was fun, but a lot of people think that Saints Row 2 is the worst of the series.
It is. It is definitely the worst.
That's really when you see the split between Grand Theft Auto and Saints Row. I think at that point they made the realization that we're not going to keep up with Grand Theft Auto, so we're going to have to go a completely different way with it.
Yeah.
Then after 2, I parted ways with the series. You stayed with it.
Oh, I stayed with it.
I've seen him play 4, the majority of 4. It's got its own unique charm to it. Like Minecraft, it has its own unique everything to it. It's got its own unique gameplay. It's got its own, especially in 4, it's got its own mechanics. I mean, you got superpowers.
Dude, you can run like super fast and like bulldoze through everything, and you can jump 20 stories in the air and glide, pretty much fly, and it's fantastic. Oh, and with the tunes, you can listen to all this cool music and the dubstep gun. That gun is fantastic. I love that gun with such a passion.
Yeah, I feel like for me it's I enjoyed watching him, but it's one of those games for me anyway that I would much rather watch someone play it than me play it. I'm a big fan of GTA, as most people are. It's just I don't see. I would rather watch someone play on YouTube than play it. That's just me. A lot of people really love Saints Row, but I'm not gonna say I refuse to. I might pick up if you pick up Get Out of Hell. I might play it at some point. But at this point, I don't see any reason to go back to Saints Row, especially when GTA 5 is coming out on PS4 sometime. I believe it might be February, but don't quote me on that.
And another game I'm really looking forward to is The Evil Within. I can't wait for that game to come out. That game's going to be amazing.
That's a very interesting that you say that because from what I've seen, it looks good. It looks. I'm not. It's a Bethesda game.
Well, the thing is, I love Bethesda. I love the Fallout series. I love games made by Bethesda, and I'm a sucker for horror games. If they have really creepy atmosphere and it's literally going to make me scream, then I'm going to buy it and I'm going to play it. And I will, even though I might, cry a little bit, and I have to play with the lights on, I'm going to get through it, and I love it.
For those of you who don't know, it's going to be a survival horror game by Bethesda. People have made Fallout, Dishonored, so they've got a pretty good track record. Also, they have another game coming out called Battlecry. We'll talk about that a little later. But
probably talk about that in the next episode or something.
Yeah. The Evil Within. It's survival horror. They say that it's a little bit of an homage, the way that the gameplay mechanics work, back to the early Resident Evil. So Resident Evil 2 is the main thing that they've been talking about. But it looks good. It looks very it's graphically very solid.
Oh yeah, big time. I've already seen a few demos of it, and it just looks very good. Especially because you have to burn your enemies, or else they'll come back or some shit. I didn't see, but like apparently you have to light the bodies on fire after you kill them.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen a any demos of it, but I've been watching people review it, listening to people review it rather, and they've all said it's very I don't know, they're not as excited about it as you would think. Because every time Bethesda comes out with a game, it's a big thing. People love it. But with Evil Within, it's a departure from their normal stuff where it's not open world. It's very closed in. It's not very sandboxy like New Vegas was. It's think of it like a Dishonored style game to where you have it's pseudo open world.
Yeah.
To where it's gives the illusion of open world, but it doesn't. Where it's smaller. I don't let's think. From what I've gotten from reviewers, it's very I don't know how to explain it. It's sort of like it's a very unique game. I'll give it that.
Oh, it's very unique, but it's just one of those things to where you can't judge it yet until it comes out and until you play it. Because I mean, let's face it, that's just how you know when a game's good or not. It's when you finally get your hands on it.
People I've been watching, Jesse Cox. If you like this podcast, go check out his. He does it with a guy named Total Biscuit and a girl Dodger. They both have YouTube channels, but he went to PAX. I think it was just normal PAX, but he said that was probably the most disappointing game he played at PAX.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was really the thing he was most upset with is there's a game mechanic to where the main villain he's some I don't know much about the story, but there's some ghost who's like the main force driving the story.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like this dude and like messes with us. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He spawns randomly throughout the game.
He does.
And
he basically just does it to mess with you, and he puts you in these situations that freak you out.
He also, in some scenarios, from what I gathered from it, he can also just outright kill you.
Yeah, you have to like keep away from
him. And there's no how do I say this? There's no the checkpoints aren't very forgiving. So I mean, you could be in a battle with a bunch of different enemies, and he comes up, axes you in the back of the head, and you're back to your 30 minutes progress is gone.
I think that just proves. I think it just puts that desperate horror. Because like you be finding enemies, and then you'll see him and go, "Oh shit!" You know, it'll put you on another level of tenseness and fear. And I mean, like how Dead Space was with me. I mean, I would be shooting necromorphs, and then I would think they're all gone, and I would turn around, and one would be 2 feet away from me, and I would just like jump in my seat and like go like I would scream like a little girl. Ask Josh. I played 3 like a few days ago, and there's a lot of times where I squealed.
But I can see the comparison you're making. But when it comes to Evil Within, are you more afraid of the guy killing you, or are you more afraid of having to go all the way back to the game and do all that stuff over again?
I'll make another little thing about Dead Space. It's the Regenerator. He's an enemy you can't kill and can kill you, and you have to fight him while fighting the normal necromorphs, which you can kill. And you have to deal with him along with the enemy. So it's kind of like the same thing about the main villain in Evil Within, and because you have to fight normal enemies and then the impossible one that can kill you. Now, granted, in Dead Space, you have all these things like stasis where you can slow them down and all this other stuff, but it's kind of like the same premise of the fact that you have this unbeatable enemy that you can slow down but you can't kill, and plus you have to deal with the regular enemies who cause you. It's kind of like you have to deal with the small problem and the big problem all at the same time, and so as a gamer you have to make choices of like which is more important and which one's more deadly.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought I've never looked at it that way. But I personally haven't seen it. I might I might pick it up. I mean, if you pick it up, I'm sure I'll watch you play it.
Oh, if there's a game, if it comes out for 360, I'm getting it.
It's coming out for all platforms, so
Woo!
you'll have
Baby,
you'll have that opportunity.
$60 down the drain. Here we go.
Yeah, I that's a good comparison between Dead Space and Evil Within with that mechanic to where you can't it's not possible to kill him. It's 100% impossible because he's the main villain. You can't kill him 30 minutes into the game. Game's over. But then again, how do you? I think that there's a better way to go about bringing him into your game to instead of randomly spawning him, to where say you're 5 minutes into the game. I'm playing it. I'm 5 minutes into the game. I breeze through all the enemies. You come in, play the game, same exact spot. He spawns, kills you. You're back to the beginning of the game. That makes it a unique experience, but I also feel like that can ruin the experience for someone that has that happen to them.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see where people are coming from, but I don't know. It's just one of those things to where if you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. You know, it's just one of those things. I mean, because every game's not gonna what's the word? Appease everybody. You know, there's going to be some aspects of a game that a lot of gamers will like and a lot of gamers won't like.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nobody can make the perfect video game because everyone has different opinions and different aspects of what they like. So it's literally impossible. Every game's going to have flaws, but you got to look at the ups of a game before you look at the downs of it.
Yeah, that's good. That goes with most things you're going on to. If you go into something looking at that's why looking at critics for basically everything, movies, TV shows, video games, that if you go in, they go in looking for bad. So,
well, I think a good like if you're one of those types of people who trust reviewers, and you know if you're gonna go get something, yeah, I would because I know from experience, you know, a game will look good on trailers, and you go in, you drop, you know, $60 on this game that, and you get it and you play it, and it's just complete garbage and it stinks beyond belief, and you just go back and you sell it to somebody or trade it back in for something else. So I mean, yes, using reviewers and critics is a way, but I think a good decision is, like how I said that everyone has their own taste, is to find a critic or reviewer who has the same taste as you do. That way you don't get screwed over on your purchases.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's why I watch. It's in today's day and age with the rise and prominence of YouTube and just the gaming community as a whole. There's very little reason to buy a game day one anymore.
Oh no, not at all.
I get sucked into it because I get wrapped up in big AAA titles like Matt knows. I was at the midnight release of Destiny.
He tried dragging me along. I said no.
But yeah, I was at the midnight release of Destiny. That great game. I don't regret that at all. But that's just a drop in the bucket of how many games come out a year.
I regret you trying to force your way to make me go to that thing.
I
had to get up at like 5:30 in the morning, and I wasn't even about to go to midnight release. I was going to bed.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny how you came back and I was still awake.
Yeah, that was. But the thing is with midnight releases is that's a lot of time. A lot of times, I like going to those because you get to meet a bunch of new people that are playing the same game as you are. You're all there for the same reason. It's not like you're walking by somebody in the mall and you're going to start a conversation with them. That's just not going to happen. But you're going to these midnight releases and you meet people, and they have the same interests as you.
Yeah.
So you're going to have the ability to strike up conversations, maybe make some new friends that way. But that's for the experience. That's the only reason I'll go to midnight releases. But buying games day one anymore is very, very, I would say, not smart on the consumer's part, because you have all these different outlets to where you can get reviews from. There's people on YouTube. There's people writing articles. Um, there's your friends who are also buying the game. So don't feel like you have to be the first one out there. Don't feel like it's a mad grab to get the game, because this is going to go into pre-orders, which is also a good topic that we should probably talk about. Is that there's really no reason to do that.
I mean, if I'm not gonna lie to you guys, there's been a bunch of games to where you pre-order and you get all this cool stuff, but then I would go and get the game like a week ahead, a week after it comes out, and I'll buy it brand new, and it still comes with all the DLs and all the stuff that you would get when you pre-ordered it. That doesn't happen all the time. But, I mean, if you want to get the cool, exclusive, stuff, yeah, you can pre-order it. I mean, that's just if you want that. But, I mean, if you're afraid that a store is going to run out of the game when it releases, don't count on it, because I didn't pre-order a game one time, and I thought, oh my gosh, this game's going to sell out. I went to the store, and they had plenty. So I was like, what's even the use of even pre-ordering anyway? It's just making a commitment that you're going to have to buy this.
Yeah, that's, it's very,
But if you want all the cool stuff, by all means, pre-order.
Yeah, I mean, it's your prerogative whether you want to pre-order or not.
Dude, you want that gun camo? Go ahead. Drop that $5.
Yep. And then even now, with Destiny, there's incentives in Destiny to pre-order the new Call of Duty. You get a special, I want to say a shader, which is like a camo for all your gear. If you pre-order the new Call of Duty, they'll give you the code, you put it in, and you get the shader. Yeah. I think that's taking pre-orders a little bit too far.
A little bit, but it's just how the companies work.
But I'm trying to shift away from pre-orders, just because I've been burned by games a little bit too much recently. The main game I can think of right now is Sniper Elite 3. A lot of people love that game. I have a friend, thought it was a great game. He still plays it. Me personally, I didn't like it. I wish I would have watched a review of it first.
The last game that burned me was Aliens Clone Marines. That game was the last and final game that burnt me big time. I thought that it was way too short of a campaign. It was awful. I did not enjoy it.
That's considered by the internet to be one of the worst games ever made.
Yeah,
it's got PS2 graphics.
That's one of the ones to where the trailer made it look so good, and the fact that I'm an Aliens fan, I was like, oh wow, this game's gonna be amazing. Went, bought it, played. It was good on some parts, but yeah, by like the end, I was completely sick of it, and I did not like it at all.
Yeah, the novelty wore off fast. Also a big Aliens fan. I've seen all the movies, even the Alien vs Predator, both of them. But yeah, that was just so. The textures looked awful. It looked like I was playing a PS2 game. The action sequences were very, I would say, dull.
I couldn't even know what the motion sensor did. There would be dots everywhere, and I had no idea what was me and what was the aliens. I got lost.
Yeah, that was very.
I just went from looking at that thing to just run and gun. Every time I saw something move, I shot at it. Or set it on fire. That's what I did.
Yeah, that's basically what that game's turned into. Is basically a just shoot everything.
So enough about that, Josh. Let's get back to what you were talking about before,
which was.
I have no idea.
So I guess we can move on to the next part. The iPhone 6 came out recently.
Yep. Pretty much just a very bigger version of the iPhone.
Yeah. That's the way things are going nowadays. I feel like it's a race to see which one can be bigger.
But I mean, it's like, I don't know. I'm not really into the big iPhone scene. Like, you won't really see me, out there camping to be first one in line to get the new iPhone, like a lot of people do. I mean, if you do, that's fine, But I'm at the iPhone 5C right now, and it's fine with me. I don't honestly. I like a small phone because, pocket size. It can just slide on in there and doesn't take up much space.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, I have the 5S. There is no reason to go out every year and update a phone, just because there's minor tweaks that come to the new phone, like such as the larger screen size and some other stuff. But mainly, the new operating system will also come to the older generation phones. So there's no reason to buy a new phone every year. Plus, you're dropping $800 on a phone that to replace your phone that's not even a year old.
But but you are talking about a kid who, I had a phone for like 4 years, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I hated the phone. I liked the phone. It was a nice phone, but my brother just kept breaking his phone, and he kept asking me for my upgrades. I said, sure, take it. I don't care, because I'm a cool person like that.
Also, they announced. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but there's this thing called the Apple Watch. Have you seen that?
Yeah, my one of my friends actually has the Samsung version of it.
Okay, so you're aware of the premise. For those of you who don't know, it's effectively an iPhone that you wear on your wrist.
Yeah, you can call. It's like those like little iPod touches.
Yeah.
It's like that, but in a watch form.
Yeah, that.
Except it's also a phone.
Yeah, that.
In a watch.
In my opinion, is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
Well, it's just the thing about the fad. Apple is just such a big company. Anything that they make now is a moneymaker.
Yeah,
it's a moneymaker.
Everything they touch turns to gold.
They can make I don't know.
You can make a toaster in it, so easy.
Oh, if they made an iToaster, and you can make some bagels and watch a movie and listen to music at the same time, that's a few $1 million right there of an idea.
Dude, I'd buy that.
And I swear, 2 years from now, if they come out with an iToaster,
want money.
I'm gonna want something.
But also to kind of relate that to this podcast is that they said there's a couple of articles online. They might have been. I'm not sure if they were on Games Radio or GameSpot, but that they say that the iPhone 6 it might replace your portable gaming device, such as your 3DS or your Vita.
Well, back when I had my Android phone, once I learned how to play Pokemon on my phone, there just went the awesomeness out of that phone. I played Pokemon more than I texted people.
Yep.
And I wasn't the only one. Heck, all my kids in my school were on their phones playing Pokemon too in class. It was just an awesome thing to do. And plus, you had all the app stores, and you can get all those games. Yeah, I can see how they were definitely, I would say, a competitor in the gaming world. But yet, I think the way the phones are, they definitely have their limitations, whereas the 3DS is built for just gaming, rather as the phone is built for phone, internet, and all that other multimedia stuff, because they can't, of course, focus on the one thing, which is gaming, so it's going to be flawed.
Yeah. Then you got the control limitations, because, like on a DS, you don't have the thumbsticks.
No.
It's touch.
And sometimes your fingers get all sticky from stuff, and
yeah.
It ruins this. And you can push something wrong, or you got big hands, and it's just awful.
Yeah. That goes into also another thing I'd like to talk about is there's a game I've been playing recently. It's called Heroes. It's a MOBA, which a lot of people don't like to use. It's called Heroes of Order and Chaos. It's a MOBA, which stands for Massive Online Battle Arena. For instance, games like League of Legends and Dota 2, they're MOBAs. So check that out. That's what that is. But along with the gaming limitations, that is that MOBAs are fun. I enjoy playing it, but the control scheme doesn't work. It doesn't work as fluidly as a mouse would, because you're tapping all over the screen, and it's very. I just don't feel like the controls on mobile devices work for games that they try to port from console or PC to platforms such as the iPad or the iPhone. But there's a very large market for this stuff.
Yeah. if you make an app and it's useful. I mean, if you go on the App Store, any kind of if you make, there's a lot of indie games everywhere, and some of them are just like downright just weird and kind of useless, but people still buy them and play them because it gives them something to do.
Yeah, like for instance, Candy Crush, huge hit. iOS game, Android game.
Cut the Rope,
Yeah,
Angry Birds,
Angry Birds, huge hit.
and it's about slinging birds and from slingshots hitting pigs.
But
But it's addicting.
and it's simple is the thing. It only requires.
If it has mechanics that is challenging for the player, then it gets addicting. And
Yep.
you know, granted, I mean a lot of it is usually a fad.
Yeah.
To where it'll be hot for a few weeks and then it'll kind of go down in popularity up until the next big thing come out where
Yeah.
everyone starts playing it.
And then also, Angry Birds got enough to where they got a Star Wars version,
Yeah,
and then they also got a console version.
bingo.
So they have Angry Birds on PS3 and 360. But then again, that's one in a million. You have thousands and thousands of apps that are just pure like, nope.
Especially if they cost money.
Yeah.
Let's face it. If it's free, everyone's gonna download it. If it costs like $1, no one's gonna really buy it.
Yeah, that's a big problem facing mobile gaming. But then you got word of mouth advertising that's like for instance, Angry Birds isn't free. It's like 99 cents. Probably, I'm not sure if it is the biggest, but it is close to one of the biggest selling apps of all time.
Oh yeah.
But back to this Heroes of Order and Chaos. That game, while it's cool in concept, you got a MOBA on your iPad. You can play it to go, and you have to have Wi-Fi, or if you have the 3G version of the iPad. But there's no. It shows the control scheme limitations of a mobile device because you have the touchscreen. You don't have as much of precise control, which in those games is sort of necessary. But then again, you got the huge games like Angry Birds,
Temple Run.
Temple Run. You can even play The Sims on your iPad. I'm just going through these games I have on my iPad.
Dude, they even have a Dead Space game on iPad
Yep.
and iPod. Had it, played it. It was awesome.
Yeah, you got all these different kinds of games. A lot of them are really simple. A lot of them,
Are really complex.
yeah, it's just all depends on what. That's going to depend on what your favorite just what your kind of FTL. Another great game. PC port works perfectly because it's a binary system. You don't drag. You don't do anything like that. It's I want to send this guy here. I want to do this now. Very simple. But the control limitations are something that mobile devices will always have a problem with, unless you, for some reason, invent a phone to where it's to where it has a joystick, and at that point, it's not a phone anymore. It's a mobile gaming. It's like a mobile gaming device that you can call people on.
Yeah.
So, I guess at one point you're gonna have to ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want a gaming device or do you want a phone? Because I saw a statistic recently that there's a very, very large number of women gamers now.
Oh yeah.
The thing is, though, is that comes with a caveat that it's not like they're out. It's not like there's a large number of girls out there just hitting Call of Duty every day they get home from work or school. It's the girls that they play Candy Crush on their phone. They play Farmville on Facebook or whatever the new fads are, or whatever the new trends are now. That's. I feel like the mobile gaming market is catering to either people on the go. I'm not gonna say they're catering to women, because that'd be a tad sexist, but still, that's who plays these games. That's who plays these games is women and people sitting in traffic. That's mostly against the law now. But people sitting in the doctor's office playing Temple Run, playing Candy Crush, stuff like that. Because I mean, you can't lug your 360 everywhere with you.
Not unless you got a decent sized bag with you.
I mean, you're not gonna whip out your 360 in the middle of a doctor's office and start playing Call of Duty with the waiting room.
Well, it doesn't mean you can't.
It's just not something that happens.
No. People who do that is hardcore in my mind.
Yeah, that's much more hardcore than we'll ever be.
But on that note, I think it's good enough there.
Yeah, we've been doing this for going on 46 minutes now. We're gonna adjust the format as these shows go on. So you wanna do the you wanna look at the releases for this coming month?
Sure. Let's get on that.
Let me look this up. Releases, games.
So while Josh is doing that, how's everyone's day going so far? Y'all good? That's good.
Okay, let's see what we got. For the PlayStation consoles at PS4, PS3, and PS Vita, we've got Dark Souls 2 DLC. It's October 1st.
Wait, Dark Souls 2 DLC?
Yep, it's called The Crown of the Ivory King.
Oh, okay. That excited me for a little bit because I'm also a die-hard Dark Souls fan.
Along those lines, you heard the game Bloodborne?
Yes, but I think we should save that for another episode.
We'll save that for next episode.
Because if we get on that topic,
we'll be here for days.
We'll be here for days.
Shadow of Mordor comes out next month in October. Natural Doctrine, I've heard of that game. Minecraft PS4 edition comes out in Europe October 3rd. Skylanders, a new expansion pack for that comes out. Alien Isolation, another game, Aliens game. Still, I'm wary about it because of Colonial Marines.
Yeah,
That's just going to come with the territory of making another Aliens game after Colonial Marines. That's going to happen regardless.
yeah.
NBA 2K15, pretty self-explanatory. The PlayStation TV, another topic for next time.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big thing coming out.
Yeah, it is.
The Evil Within comes out next month.
Oh boy.
October 14th. I guess you might be playing that a little bit.
Dude, I'm getting my jimmies ready right now. Buckle them down.
Samurai Warriors 4. Alright. That's, in case you didn't know, that's like a, Dynasty Warriors spin-off kind of deal made by the same people. I think it's, instead of China history, it's Japanese history. Because those are, like, roughly based on the same deal. Legend of Korra. I assume that's based on the Avatar
That's
show.
Avatar. Yeah.
Assassin's Creed: The Americas Collection, PS3. Not a whole lot of other stuff coming out. Oh, this is interesting. The Walking Dead Season 1 plus the DLC 400 Days is coming out for PS4.
The first season or the second season?
First season. The second season is also coming out. But that's coming out on all Sony consoles.
Ah, I gotcha.
So they must have wrapped up Season 2. Did they?
Yeah, they did. I watched all the episodes on it.
Okay, so they wrapped up, so now they're coming out with the collection next month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they must be timing it with the release of the new season of The Walking Dead.
Well, so that's all the releases for October, guys. Thanks for listening to our podcast. I know we're kind of rusty because this is our first one, but don't forget to tune in to next week's episode. Gather that XP and level up.
Yeah, guys, thanks for joining us.